looking at, gosh, they call it Hump Day galore. It is the 27th day of August, and
it's not Hump Day yet. It's not Hump Day yet. It's the day. It's Hump Day Eve, Mike.
Okay, yeah, tomorrow. That's right. I went through yesterday without knowing about it.
What's the day for Tuesday?
Well, the date for Tuesday.
I mean, is there a nickname for the day of the week? So there's not one for Tuesday.
I don't think so. Want to mention this: Pike Liberal Arts comes from behind to win a big football game this past weekend. I don't know what happened and how they did it, but they called the game off on Friday night, and they played Saturday at sometime. I don't know exactly when they played, but it was an unusual circumstance. But I will tell you about it. Of course, the Pike Liberal Arts junior varsity got rolling too, and we'll talk about that. But it took 24 hours. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
All right, here's where it went. It took more than 24 hours, but the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots started the season 1-0 with a thrilling 34-27 double overtime win over the Morgan Academy Senators. The Patriots and the Senators played much of the first quarter on Friday before lightning and rain forced a postponement until Saturday, with the Patriots leading 3-0 after Scott Taylor Renfro connected on a 20-yard field goal. Chip Fairclough scored on the first play of the second overtime to give the Patriots a season-opening win. It's always good to win, says Coach Gene Allen, and it's tough to have to come home and then go back. So they came home. Oh, man. That was 100 miles over there and 100 miles back.
Yeah, but you wouldn't think they would be paying for hotels. I mean, it's
I tell you what, if I'm a rich papa, I would have paid for the hotels for everybody if I had to.
Well, instead of making... You could have wrote a check for the whole school to stay, but I'm just saying some people can't.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. Ha ha. It's always good to win, said head coach Gene Allen, and we watch film and we know we have a lot of things we need to work on, but they played hard and finished strong.
Morgan Academy's got to hate Pike Liberal Arts. I mean, what happened in baseball and now here in football, I mean, they don't want anything to do with them.
No question about it. It's exactly right. The game was supposed to resume at 3 o'clock on Saturday, but more poor weather pushed the game to 6 o'clock. Can you believe that?
Yeah, amazing.
So, boy, what a night. What a day.
Unfortunately, this time of the year, lightning plays a huge role in high school and college football. You're going to see it on Saturday as well. You'll see a lot of games delayed.
And they delay them a lot longer than they used to. You know,
Charles Henderson was delayed 10 minutes, I believe, and luckily they...
You know who's not going to be delayed? Alabama and Duke and Oregon and Auburn.
So they're playing indoors, is that right?
That's right.
But, again, congratulations to the Pike Liberal Arts Patriots, and we'll give you a rundown of that game later on in our show. Of course, Bill Rice is with us. Of course, it is football season. Troy University gets rolling this weekend, hopefully against an undermanned team from Campbell, North Carolina. I say undermanned. They don't give quite as many scholarships in 1AA as they do 1A.
They still give scholarships, though.
They do,
so
I know.
You don't take these things for granted.
The only problem is they can take transfers from anywhere, usually, and that usually builds up.
Yeah. Mike, in that Pike game, Drew Nelson got his career as a starting quarterback started. He threw a 93-yard touchdown pass to one Davis Allen. And Allen finished the game with 6 catches and 198 yards.
Wow.
Davis had by far his best game, Allen said, and he did a great job running routes. And evidently they've got quite a passing attack.
Look at that picture we just popped up on the screen.
Yeah, exactly right. And that is a great picture. Keep it right there. Of course, Nelson was 11 out of 24 for 284 yards. Quite a day for that young man. He's only a sophomore. And, man, I've got a feeling he's got some outstanding football to play. Of course, he's a great baseball player.
He'll get a lot better than 11 for 24. That's not the greatest number as far as a percentage, as far as throwing the ball.
And, of course, you don't know how many of those balls were dropped.
The 284 is really good.
A lot of people don't realize when they look at those stats how many were dropped, and there was usually
Tua is popular perception says Tua had a really bad game against Georgia in the SEC championship last year, but I remember that his receivers dropped at least 5 balls in that game.
The tight end dropped the ball wide open down the middle. It probably would have been a touchdown. Irv Smith.
So his completion percentage would have been a lot higher, and his yards probably would have been 80 or 100 yards more, and that's in 3 quarters of play. So, and he was playing with about 3 different injuries.
Charles Henderson beat Pike County in what I thought was a very good football game to open the season. Now, you saw it live right here on Troy Cable, and they won that. Charles Henderson wins that game 12-6. Charles Henderson and Pike County are going to be pretty good football teams. Pike County only a 3A school. It showed why they're so good. I mean, their fronts on both sides of the ball played very well.
I love these photos.
Yeah, exactly.
Those must be Joey Meredith or Dan Smith photos there.
Yeah, Joey does a great job too, and Dan, of course, is a professional, no question about it.
So who is Pike County's new quarterback?
Well, they played 2 of them. One of them was a Hobney kid, number 7, that didn't look bad. And then they played their great running back. And I say great. I think he is a great running back for Pike County. Reynolds played some, and he also played some in the Wildcat. I thought Pike County played a very good game. I think they should have actually stuck to the run even more because they were able to run the ball at times, but, of course, Charles Henderson defensively up front is very good. But Pike County, against everybody they play from here on out, all they have to do is get it and hit it to number 8, and that they got the job done. Or 21 and 22, those 2 young running backs are very good, and, of course, they belong to the family of
My Hands?
My Hands, yeah. And, of course, those My Hands were really good. Pike County got a real good team.
No concerns. A 5A school like Charles Henderson only scoring 12 points against Pike County. Does that not concern you?
Well, it does in a way, but I think Pike County's that good, Mike. I really do. I really believe that Pike County is going to be loaded to hills. I don't think Pike County will lose a regular season game.
And apparently none of these schools have a guy that can make an extra point.
Well, I tell you what, Charles Henderson didn't even get the ball off the ground. It's important to work on that, and hopefully, they ought to be able to get somebody and kick an next point,
I tell you what, Charles Henderson is going to have a tough time with Enterprise. Enterprise was leading 23-6 going into the 4th quarter against North Miami. And I thought the game was won, and next thing I know, they get beat 34-31. So,
well, that unreal.
The worst thing that could have happened to Charles Henderson is Enterprise get beat. So I'm sure that new coach and his sons, the quarterback, are going to come in. Is that game going to be played in Troy Friday night?
Yeah, 7 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, they're going to be coming in with a mat on, so Charles Henderson's going to probably have to play their best.
I'll tell you right now, don't think Charles Henderson's a bunch of babies, because they're sure not. I mean, they're pretty good, Mike.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think North Miami would be loaded with talent?
I don't know. There's an outside linebacker, or you call him outside linebacker, and a safety for Charles Henderson that are, one of them's named Sanders, number 8, and the other kid is at number 1, and he is really a fine player. And then they got their big defensive front. The reason I give Charles Henderson a chance against most everybody they play is because their front is so big and strong on both sides of the ball. They really are good. The big guys up front are good.
And Mike knows of what he speaks.
Well, I've been there and done that. I just know that if you're strong up front, nobody's going to knock you off the ball, and nobody's going to run roughshod over you. if you can control the line of scrimmage.
That's why I'm thinking that Auburn should have a better season than a lot of people think, because they're strong in the line.
And exactly right. And but Mike, again, did you watch? You didn't watch all of the Charles Simpson game. Charles Simpson moved the ball at times very well. Puka Jones threw for 180 yards. He is a very good thrower, and it looked like they got some good people to catch the ball, and they've got a couple of good running backs. I think Charles Simpson's going to be pretty good now. Against Enterprise, the third largest school in Alabama. They're going to dress 125 players.
They're probably going to bring 5,000 people to the game.
Oh, yeah, they'll bring a bunch of people to the game. You're exactly right. They bring a big, fine marching band, and, hey, Enterprise does it right. Charles Henderson, gosh, I thought that was Brunage's band, but it was Charles Henderson's band on the field. What's happened to you young people not wanting to play in the band? The band means a lot to your program, in my book, and I bet there weren't 50 people in the band. That's the smallest I think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, that's a big change over the years.
But it is hot weather. It was the hottest.
The Blue Machine when I was growing up was way in the hundreds.
Well, and the thing is, it's so darn hot, too, and you know, these kids have a shorter summer. Boy, it's no question the summer is shorter. Isn't that right?
We talked about that.
And then of course when it's 110, 115 degrees on the practice field, and you can stay at home and drink drink a cold drink, a Coca-Cola, a Pepsi, or whatever, and play with your video games. You got to really make this thing a fun deal, or those kids just not going to come out. But I think it's very important to put together 2 or 3 trips a year for them, so they'll give them some incentive to want to play in the band.
I don't even think they have majorettes anymore. I might be wrong.
I didn't see any.
It used to be that you have 8 or 10 majorettes.
Well, I will say this.
What did you think of the new turf? Did you enjoy calling the game on the new turf? Did
well, let me just say this.
The colors of the turf.
Let me say this without exaggeration. It's the prettiest football field in America. It's probably one of the newest football fields in America.
It's got to be.
I doubt if, nationwide, I'm sure there are a few I'm probably completing the installation, but Troy's Veterans Stadium is as pretty as any football field you'll see in America.
And that just goes with how pretty the rest of the stadium is.
That's right.
And the setting of the stadium is beautiful.
I was at a wedding Saturday night there, and the Fabulous Shades played there Saturday night, and it was really a lot of fun. And congratulations to Sim Bird and Faith West Ward, and
now
beautiful wedding. And we looked out over there, and everybody at that wedding were just amazed at how good looking that field was. And again, we've got a lot of football. Of course, Charles Henderson in Pike County was called a jamboree, and that's what we'll call it. But if I'm coaching 40 years down the road, I'm going to give myself a win there, buddy, aren't you?
They keep
I saw where Arrington lost to
I hated that.
Dale County. I don't know. I think Goshen maybe won their jamboree.
It had the field, yeah.
Not sure on Luverne or Holland Home.
Yeah. I tell you, we got a guru up there now that can do a lot.
I love that shot.
Yeah, it is a great shot of the stadium.
Alabama has released their depth chart for 2019. Do you guys want to hear that, or you want to wait?
Well, let's wait just a little while. I want to get out some other things. Well, the richest man in golf is without a doubt, Mike.
Yeah, Roy McIlroy won the FedEx Cup and basically ran away with it on Sunday. Justin Thomas from Alabama was leading going in to midway through the third round, and then he triple bogeyed, and that pretty much cost him the tournament. Then Bruce Koepka, the #1 player in the world, played with McIlroy and just didn't play very well. And McIlroy just ended up making birdie after birdie after birdie, and I think finished 18 under. And Koepka tied for third with Justin Thomas, and then Xander Shopley actually finished second.
Yeah. Where's Shopley from, Mike?
McElroy won $15 million, Shopley won $5 million, Thomas and Koepka each won $3.5 million.
Bless their hearts. Bless their hearts.
I think I read that Justin Thomas is 26 years old, and he's already, this was before this tournament, he'd already had career earnings on the PGA Tour of like $30 million at age 26.
Yeah, he's also, he's won 10 times, which is the record for an Alabama golfer all time. He broke Jerry Pate's record.
Is that right? I love Jerry Pate. I once had a long conversation with Jerry Pate. He was the architect that renovated Montgomery Country Club's golf course, and my brother Rush was on the board that supervised that renovation of the course. And he said, Jerry Pate's going to be in town, working on the renovation project. You want to meet him and do a story on him? I said, heck yeah. And so I got in the cart with Jerry Pate and rode around with him all day as he did his markings on the course, and couldn't have been a nicer man.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought Pay would have been in the Hall of Fame, but he ended up getting injured and pretty much had to stop playing golf.
Yeah.
And he had won what? He won the U.S. Open. I know he won the Players.
Well, he won the U.S. Open with that fabulous shot. That's
5-iron, yeah.
5-iron shot. You're right.
And he won the U.S. Amateur too.
Yeah. So he had a good career, and of course, football season is here. We saw Florida and Miami play.
That was one of the craziest games I've ever seen in my life. It really was. I've never in my life seen a game where literally Florida was just trying to give it away at the very end. 4th and 34, and they get a pass interference penalty. And then they sacked the quarterback probably 10 times to maybe 11 times. I don't know how many times Miami fumbled. Florida didn't get on the ball at the end of the game. And then at the end, another pass interference at the 4th and 34. And finally, Florida sacked the quarterback again. I mean, the guy was just running for his life and won 24-20. But if Florida loses that game, that is a horrible loss for them.
And Florida also, I think, lost 2 fumbles, and they had one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen when they.
Oh yeah, to run out the clock at the end of the game, he throws just a horrible pass, and Miami intercepts it, and Florida very lucky to get out of there. I tell you what, Miami played hard though. Maybe Manny Diaz isn't a bad coach after all.
I was listening to Feinbaum yesterday, and one caller was making a point I made that didn't look like Florida had a whole lot of discipline, as you just said, Mike. I was struck by the way the quarterback acts, the way his antics with the crowd and going in talking to the fans in the middle of the game. I was watching pregame warm-ups, and I would say a third of Florida's players were going through pregame warm-ups without their shirts on.
Me.
So I wonder, are the inmates running the asylum there at Florida?
I tell you what,
exactly right.
Miami has gotten even worse. They have the turnover chain when they get an interception or a fumble. So they put on the chain, and now when they score touchdowns, they have touchdown rings they put on in the sidelines. You think Nick Saban would ever even think to allow something like that?
Oh, boy. I don't know.
I mean, that's just unbelievable. I mean, they're wearing, literally these gigantic necklaces around their neck, and then they got these rings. It's just crazy. Alabama does what? Does Alabama do the belt?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
They used to.
Exactly. I want to mention something that right off the bat before we get going good today. It's a rodeo. Mike had 3,200 people there. There was standing room only for the second day of the Pike County Cattlemen's rodeo at Cattleman Park. So it's the largest crowd in their 27th year history, and it was not a college game to worry about. So they had the high school game on Friday night. There was not very well attended. At least, did you go to the game?
No, I was going, but then when the lightning and thunder.
But I'm thinking because of television, a lot of people stayed.
I heard you say that on the air.
Well, I hate to say that, but it sure wasn't near the crowd. It was, Pike County sent really had a small crowd considering, the kind of team they've got.
Yeah, I'm picking up on this at sporting events all over America. Attendance is just down at all sporting events. I guess from high school through the. Have you watched some of these NFL preseason games?
Oh yeah.
It looks like the stadiums are 30 or 40% full.
Yeah, no question about it.
I will say in Orlando, for Miami and Florida, it looked like a hard sellout.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a packed stadium because it kept on showing it throughout.
Yeah, and of course, Orlando in Miami, it probably wouldn't have been a packed house, but of course, everybody there in the Disney World area would want to watch that game.
It's not a huge. How much was that stadium seat? Maybe 70,000 at
Probably 65, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Want to mention also quite a game in Hawaii. I didn't stay up and watch it.
I watched it, man. They were just destroying Arizona, and Hawaii had a quarterback that threw 4 touchdowns and threw 4 interceptions, so it should have been a bigger blowout. He actually kept.
Well, somebody told me that the quarterback for Arizona had the football at the very end of the game and started breaking for the end zone and got stopped at the 1-yard line.
That's right.
And when the game was over, Artie would have tied up.
I saw the highlight of that. Yes, he ran from the 30-yard line. He said he's going to. That's the last play of the game. Takes off running, and darn if he almost doesn't make
Mike,
it.
The wide receiver.
Kevin Sutherland is a coach that will not have a job much longer. I mean,
you're right.
Lost his job at A&M and basically lived off Johnny Manziel, and then he got the Arizona job, and Arizona's been horrible since he's been there. I don't think you'll see him much longer.
Yeah. Well, and of course, the wide receiver for Hawaii caught 14 passes for over 200 yards. That was pretty impressive.
His name was Bird.
I remember Friday, I think we talked about this game, and I think, Mike, you told us that the over on the game was 73 points. And
yeah, that's right.
I remember saying, take the over.
Take the over.
That would have been, I wish I would have.
It would have been good.
Hawaii, though, I mean, over there, they're tough. I mean, they always have been.
Well, you think about it. You got how long is the plane? 8-hour plane flight, I think.
From California.
From California.
Yeah,
and usually all the teams come in 2 or 3 days early to get acclimated, and but it's always tough. You're right, no question about it. Well, we get the full season starts on Thursday, and we're going to be talking to you a little bit about that. Of course, we got scoreboard shows that are going to be coming up on Thursday and Friday of this week. That's going to be fun as we start a new year. I hope you are better than you were last year, Mike.
Well, I mean, I've had, I'm trying to raise this 1-year-old and now 3-year-old.
Nah, excuses.
My focus is not where it used to be. I used to be really good at picking games. I'm hoping I can turn it around this year.
I get to participate this year, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we're going to see.
I'm being facetious, though. Of course, the Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks Picket Show will be on Thursday, and that's when we'll get it going. Of course, we're going to have our coaches show every Wednesday night, starting at 6 o'clock, which hopefully with Charles Henderson, then Goshen, then Pike LeBlards, then Arrington, and then we haven't finalized it yet, but we have one other team. Hopefully it'll be Elba or Lou Verne coming into the coaches show every Wednesday, which will show highlights of each game each week, and find out from the coach how things are going. And football's here. It's a fun time of the year, and of course Troy University opens their season this Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock from Veterans Stadium as they go up against Camel University of North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about Camel, Mike. Do you know much on them?
Their nickname is Camel.
We talked before. I mean, they've only had football for about 7 years. They're coached by Mike Minner, who was a great All-American player at Nebraska, and then ended up playing with the Carolina Panthers for 10 years and retiring. So he's their head coach. I think they finished 6-5 last year. Not in a great conference from what I remember. I think maybe they're like in the Big South or something like that.
But I'll tell you this, they're not bad. I mean, those schools, Charlotte was not as bad as you thought they were. There's several of them.
I mean, Charlotte's Division I.
I know it, but what I'm saying, that South they're not playing in the Southern Conference. They're playing in the what?
I think the Big South Conference is what they play in.
Big South Conference, and of course they are
I mean,
a 1AA
they
team.
They ought to have some pretty quality players, I would say, but I mean, it should be a depth issue more than anything.
Yeah.
Troy also released their depth chart yesterday as well.
I would like to hear that. I would like to hear that right now.
Big news out of Troy, though. Unfortunately, Troy's lost Antonio Barker. We didn't even mention that. A starting defensive end for last year that had, I think, 11 tackles for loss, 6 or 7 sacks, played huge in the Nebraska game, played huge in the Georgia Southern win. I think it was an academic issue, and then he ended up just getting in the transfer portal. And then it looks like on the depth chart, Terrence Dunlap, the starter out of Maplesville, didn't make his grades as well because he's not on the depth chart in any position that I've seen. So that's going to be now, it looks like, 6 starters off defense that have either transferred out or have not made their grades.
And that is a shame.
Could be a very challenging year on defense. I mean, they got a bunch of young guys. Looks like you're going to be playing a lot. And they've got a few guys that played some, but I'm very concerned about Troy's defense now. Troy's going to look like have to outscore a lot of people this year.
Well, I'm hurt by it because
you can't lose guys like Murray. I mean, Marcus Jones, kid out of Enterprise,
All-American type, yeah.
His backup was Dunlap, and then Dunlap ended up coming in and playing great last year after Marcus Jones got hurt. And then, of course, you lose Tron Fulton, who led the team in tackles 2 straight years. It's just kind of one of those situations.
Did they lose Fulton? Oh, yeah, that's right. They lost Fulton.
Yeah,
You're right.
Fulton's at Colorado State. Jones is at Houston. Don't know where Murray's playing. Don't know where Barker's going to play. Dunlap, I think, is going to sit out a year and because, he never redshirted and hopefully get everything back in order. So definitely going to be a the backup quarterback's at Kentucky. Yeah, that's right. Sawyer Smith.
Sawyer Smith. How's he doing? Do you know?
I hadn't heard. I don't know if I'll have to look at the Kentucky depth chart to see where he's at, I guess.
Well, boy.
You would think, though, that he would play a lot because the quarterback last year is a great runner but a really poor passer. So you would think maybe they put him in there to throw the ball a little bit.
I could see the starting quarterback struggling and them making a change. So, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up.
I don't know if Kentucky's going to have near that talent they had last year. They had Josh Allen. That was the number 5 or 6 pick in the NFL draft, and several other guys get drafted. So it's going to be interesting to see.
I was watching the NFL preseason game the other day, and Josh Allen was playing, and he was dominating already in the preseason game. I mean, every play he was in the backfield.
Yeah, it's an interesting story on Allen. He grew up, I think, up in New Jersey, but then his family moved him down to Abbeville. So he played at Abbeville for about two or 3 years in high school, and then I think he ended back up at New Jersey. But he's got Alabama ties.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Good info there, Mike.
Well, looking at Alabama, the quarterback situation has your guy.
The quarterback is Tua, Mac Jones, and Talua.
And Talua. So the brother is the 3rd string, and the rest of them will sit out. Is that right?
You would think Paul Tyson will be redshirted.
Yeah. So the two, we can see the two Tua brothers. I can't pronounce them. I'm sorry. There's the man right there. Look at him. Now he's one of the most hands-on coaches in America, ladies and gentlemen. He coaches the secondary. Some people say he'll throw a football 100 to 125 times every practice. Every coach doesn't do that. Hardly any of them does. This guy is a hands-on football coach.
And he's 66 or 67 years old.
When you hate to have to play corner for Alabama, and this guy's on top of you every day, and not only as the head coach, but also as the guy that coaches the corners and the safeties. But, you have to hand it to him, that he loves it that much,
he preaches, if you listen to him, besides the process, the things you hear him talking about more than anything is consistency.
Yeah.
But he's lived it. I mean, look how consistent his teams have been over 11 years. They're consistently playing for a national championship. If they don't win it, they're in the hunt and going into the last game of the regular season.
And, of course, Najee Harris is the number 1 running back. Brian Robinson, Mike, is the other one. And then Jerome Ford or Kellen Robinson or Chandaris Townsend. Do you know those guys?
Yeah, Ford was out of Tallahassee. He's a speedster. He's a guy that can really run, but they lost Sanders, the 5-star running back that a lot of people said was looking phenomenal in fall camp, and he was a guy that was going to play a lot.
I mean, he was a superstar type guy. Is that right?
IMG
running back in the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
This Tadarius Townsend, they keep moving him back and forth between receiver and running back, but I watched him in the 8A game. He looked pretty quick. It looks like he'd be a great third down back that could catch the ball out of the backfield.
Well, to make people feel better about losing the great running back, they've got 5 other backs that they like enough to put on their depth chart. The receivers, all right, how about all this? This is probably the best core receivers maybe in college football history.
Definitely
that sounds a lot. They got Henry Ruggs and John Manchie. Mike, I don't even know him very well. Tell us about him.
He's a kid they recruited out of Louisiana. He's kind of a slot receiver.
All right, they got him as number 2.
He was the MVP of the 8A game as a high school senior.
Isn't that amazing? That is amazing, Rice.
The biggest news for Alabama fans is the kid out of Hoover, the kicker, Will Riker, is going to be the new kicker at Alabama.
Okay. A lot of people are jumping up and down about that. The Devontae Smith is one receiver, Terrell Shavers, and Xavier Williams. I'm not as familiar with those guys as I should be.
Deontay Smith's the guy that called the touchdown to beat Georgia.
Number 6.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, the slot receiver is everybody's All-American, Jerry Jeudy and or Jalen Waddle. Both of those are All-Americans, Mike, going at it. And then
Judy's supposed to be a top 5 pick, and they got Waddle and him as co-starters.
Why don't they move one of them outside and play them both at the same time,
They will, surely they will.
But this is my favorite player. Is their tight end Cameron? Giles Amos. Giles Amos is the tight end. No, the other slot receiver is Slade Bolden. Alabama just loaded with receivers. Their tight end is Miller Forrestall, Major Tennyson.
I'll give you some trivia on
Miller
Forrestall. You know what his claim to fame is?
What?
He was the quarterback of his high school team before he was beaten out by one Trevor Lawrence.
Are you serious?
Yeah, then they moved him to tight end, and he's become a pretty good tight end.
So he was Trevor Lawrence's tight end in high school then, is that right?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I didn't know about all that, but
I think Trevor Lawrence they made the decision to start Trevor Lawrence maybe in 9th grade.
Well, the offensive line, evidently they're solid here. They're going to start Alex Leatherhood at one tackle. The other tackle will be Jedrick Willis. The guards will be Emil Ikayara Jr., and the other guard will be Landon Dickerson. Womack right now is the backup at right guard. He was a starter before, wasn't he?
Yeah, Womack was coming off an injury last year. Womack, 6'7", 330 pounds, is going to be playing guard.
Oh, man.
Now, Dickerson has come in as a graduate transfer from Florida State, has 2 years to play.
Wait a minute. You mean we went ahead and Alabama took advantage of the portal?
He's 6'6", 315 pounds. Well, he's, I think, the only guy they brought in, but he's
6'6", 315.
He's actually beat a lot of guys out and will be a starter. Pretty impressive.
Well, we don't know if it'll be at center or at guard, so all these guys on the Alabama line are interchangeable, or almost
the center
all of
is
them.
Chris Owens or Landon Dickerson. You're right, and
it's amazing how Tua can throw over these guys.
Yeah, I know it. You're exactly right. Tua's not but 6 feet. Is that right?
They got him listed at 6'1".
I doubt it, though. You're right.
Well, all right, that'll give you a look. Now, this is where, of course, the right tackle had Matt Womack. So one thing about Womack, he can play guard or tackle, so they'll play him in different places. On defense, they'll have Raycon Davis.
Yeah, he's a guy that really underachieved last year. He was a guy a lot of people thought was going to go in the first round of the draft and was really inconsistent. He's big number 99. He's one of the biggest players Alabama's ever had on defense. He's 6'7", 305 pounds.
Oh, boy, that can run. He's considered perhaps the best defensive lineman in America. Is that right?
Well, I mean, he's getting a lot of praise, but he's got to come along. Last year, he kind of went backward.
He underachieved
I'll tell you a very important position is nose guard. DJ Dale is the starting nose guard right now.
He's the kid out of Clay Chapel that was coached by Adam Helms.
He was coached by Adam Helms from right here in Troy, Alabama. Mike, I'm glad you picked that up. And now the defensive ends, LeBron Ray is a solid player. Is that right?
He can be really good. Yeah, if he's healthy.
And
he's the guy that they really are going to be counting on to have a big year.
Mm-hmm. So of course they've got a lot of depth behind those guys. The linebackers will have Terrell Lewis, Dylan Moses, Christian Harris, and Fernie Jenkins.
Harris is somebody you need to talk about. He's a freshman linebacker, pure freshman out of Louisiana, that's going to be starting at linebacker for Alabama. So that's huge news that a kid in 90 days, he enrolled in late May, is going to be the starter because of Josh McMillan tearing his ACL. So Alabama's going to have two Louisiana kids playing at linebacker.
All right, what are their names again?
Well, this guy is the new guy is Christian Harris. Sorry, so Christian Harris is the new starter linebacker.
And he's a pure freshman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's gonna be next to Dylan Moses.
Okay. I noticed that Ben Davis is the number 2 bag. Is that the Davis from Gordo?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a guy that was a 5-star that's never played hardly at all. He's been a huge underachiever.
I hope he can come back around because he has not been what they thought he was going to be.
That's Wayne Davis's son.
Yeah. But now the other kid, Christian Harris, is the wheel linebacker that you're talking about. Is that right?
Yeah, that's huge news for a freshman to come in and start at Alabama at linebacker.
That is.
But it's happened before. Rolando McClain was a starter almost from the beginning. Dante Hightower was a starter almost from his first game. And then I think Mosley, if he wasn't a starter, he was a co-starter as a freshman. So it's not unprecedented.
The secondary at Alabama, which is so important, Trevon Diggs is one corner. The other corner is Patrick Surtain, which is he's a 5-star, Mike, considered the best in America. Is that right?
Well, he played last year as a freshman and started, so he had a year where he had some good moments, and then kind of got exposed against Oklahoma, kind of got exposed against Clemson.
All right, strong safety.
Alabama lost Diggs last year, and that really hurt the secondary. He's a tremendous athlete. His brother plays for Minnesota, the star wide receiver there, was a first-round pick in the NFL draft. And when Diggs broke his foot last year, don't you agree, Bill, that really hurt Alabama?
Yeah, it sure did. Yep.
Of course, strong safety, Xavier McKinney is going to be one starter there. The free safety is going to be Shyheim Carter or Jared Maiden. So
Shaheem Carter is a really versatile guy. He can play almost every position in the secondary.
And they've got Carter also playing in what they call the star position, or Patrick Surtain. So those are two outstanding players.
I think on paper, Alabama's secondary is going to be very good, much better than last year.
Looking at Alabama's kicking game, Will Richard, is it called Richard?
He goes by Will
Reichard. And is the kicker, and he's a pure freshman, isn't he?
Yeah, he was kicking at Hoover last year.
All right, now is he the punter or he's the kicker?
Both.
He's a kicker and also co-punter. So Skylar DeLong has not won that job. Apparently, Reichard might punt as well.
Yeah, the holder will be Tua and Mac Jones. Mac Jones' position is going to probably be the holder. The snapper is Thomas Fletcher. If he'll keep his nose clean, I'm sure he will. He's a fine young man.
Let's go back to Mac Jones.
He can snap in the pros one day.
You're right. Let's go back to Mac Jones. He'll be the holder, maybe, but he'll be the mop-up duty quarterback. But when you're at Alabama, if it goes like last year, you're going to get a lot of PT and mop-up duty.
He ought to be able to throw for 1,000 yards.
Yeah. And plus, they're not going to want to get Tua hurt. So, I could see a lot of games where Mac Jones plays most of the second half.
Yeah. The kick return.
Kick returner is going to be Ruggs or Diggs. So those two really.
Or Waddle. You better throw Waddle in there.
Dang right.
There are 3 of them.
Waddle's the man.
Pretty good. So, Alabama's kicking game hopefully will be better. Every year, and I think y'all will agree, I think the last 10 years, Auburn's always had a better kicker than Alabama. I don't know why. And it was a real weapon, didn't you think?
And their two great field goal kickers were children of Alabama grads.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and give you the depth chart for Troy University as they open the season this Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock against Camel University of North Carolina.
The Campbell Camels.
Pike County Cattlemen presents its annual NCPRA Rodeo, August 23rd and 24th at 7:30 p.m. Gates open 5 p.m. Friday and 4 p.m. Saturday. Kids Western Festival Saturday at 5 p.m.
Yep, you're good, cowboy.
Tickets on sale at Troy Bank and Trust Main Branch, Walker Western Wear, Piggly Wiggly, and Banks by Ride. Family fun at its best.
Pike County, are you ready to bull ride?
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Amos along with Bill Rice Jr. Speaking from our studios on South Brundage Street in Troy, Alabama, where this Friday night, ladies and gentlemen, live from Veterans Stadium in Troy will be the Enterprise Charles Henderson football game, and that game can be seen live right here on Troy Cable.
That used to be a huge rivalry back in the day.
Oh, huge.
Troy versus Enterprise.
I remember your daddy's championship year in high school in 1957.
That was the famous geese or duck game?
Yeah, no, that wasn't it. No, that was over in Greenville. Yeah, well, that year it was, yeah.
But it wasn't Enterprise?
No, it wasn't Enterprise. It was Greenville.
Okay.
They played at Greenville. I was at that game. And I'll tell you the story. You can believe it or not. People have heard this over the years quite a few times if you watch this show. But Enterprise and Troy, always a great traditional battle. And, of course, Enterprise a 7A, Charles Henderson a 5A. Pretty good football team on both sides of the ball for Charles Henderson, and same way for Enterprise. So if you want to get out and see an outstanding high school football game this weekend, the Charles Henderson Enterprise game will be.
I wonder how many people Enterprise has in their band.
Oh, probably 200, I would guess. There's auditorium. Their auditorium has seats close to 2,000.
Yeah, have you ever seen that school? It's unbelievable.
Well, I guess it was rebuilt after the tornado, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That terrible tornado.
You're right, at a terrible cost. All right, let's take a look at Troy's depth chart, Mike, and that scares me to see so many players are leaving Troy. And we haven't seen a lot of publicity on any of this, Mike. They've kept it pretty much down home.
Yeah.
You ever heard of that old saying, keep it down home, cuz?
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good word, and
no, it's not.
there's
I'm playing.
A few times we heard that over the years, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's actually on TroyTrojans.com if anybody wants to look at the depth chart. I'm trying to pull it up right now, actually. So just give me 1 second and I'll get it up.
And, of course, led by their quarterback, who I think is one of the fine quarterbacks in America. And, of course, I look at his career, and, it's the same as in high school.
He was coming into his
Caleb
own
Barker,
when he got hurt.
That's right. Was fixing to maybe set some records. We say this all the time on the game that he was hurt. He already had close to 300 yards total offense, or had over 300 yards in total offense in the first quarter.
He was looking like an All-American in that
And,
game.
of course, right now he's been the quarterback throughout the camp. And, of course, there's a young man right behind it. There he is right there. Caleb Barker, a young man out of Priceville, Alabama, and he can fly. Let me tell you this guy is one of the fastest quarterbacks in America, and throws the ball very well too. And that young man behind him is quite a running back. So that tandem, I like that color combination, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Especially for a road game. All right, Mike, are you ready?
I mean, I keep on trying to pull it up, and it won't pull up right now. I'm trying to get it up. So.
All right. Well, we'll move on a little bit. Of course, we've got a big slate of high school games, but let's see where we're gonna start the real college football weekend.
Thursday night.
Will be Thursday night, and I'm looking.
I noticed that there's a lot of games college games being played on Friday. Remember, that was
I don't like that.
That was once controversial, and then they would have maybe one.
I think it should be controversial.
And now they've got, it looks like 5 or 6 that are played on Friday nights.
And Troy plays on a Wednesday night against South Alabama, and that should never be. I don't think that's one of the Lord's days, Wednesday night. That's prayer meeting day, and I hate to see us play a game on Wednesday nights.
Everything's dictated by TV, isn't it?
Well, let me tell you a team that everybody you would think UCLA going into Cincinnati, they'd be the favorite. Well, the favorite looks to be Cincinnati. They're coming off a real good team last year. That's a Thursday night game. Another Thursday night game has Clemson, a 33-point favorite over Georgia Tech. That's no respect at all. I would think Georgia Tech, if they could move the ball a little bit on offense, run the ball, they could kill the clock enough to hold it under 33. What do you think?
I think you need to go to Biloxi and put your money where you
legally.
They got a new coach in Jeff Collins.
What is he an option guy, Mike, or what is he?
I mean, he was the head coach at Temple. I mean, he runs the spread.
So they're going.
They're not going to run the option. They're going to run the spread at Georgia Tech now.
Yeah.
Complete change of.
And I tell you what, Temple had a good program. All right, how about Tulane and FIU? Tulane's going to be better. They play Auburn in 2 weeks. I might go see that game.
Scout Tulane.
Texas A&M and Texas State. Texas A&M's a 33.5-point favorite. Arizona State, these are Thursday night games, plays Kent State, and they're a 25-point favorite.
Nick Saban's
out. And a team that everybody's talking about is Utah, playing at BYU. Look out, Michael, look out.
Yeah, a lot of
people like Utah this year.
Well, I tell you what, though, to play at BYU, though, you don't know. Looking at Friday's game.
They call that the Holy War.
You got Army and Rice. That's going to be a 50-point deficit there. That is just 23 points. Army will have that many. They'll be up that much in the first half.
Army runs triple option.
Yeah, Wake Forest is not a bad team. 2.5-point favorite at home against the Utah State. That surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
Wisconsin against South Florida. They're playing the game at South Florida. Wisconsin, those Yankees have to come south. I mean, way south.
And the quarterback for South Florida is Blake Barnett, that used to be the quarterback at Alabama.
Well, let me tell you this. You're talking about, do they play indoors, Mike?
No.
No, South Florida plays.
All right. Well, let me tell you this. You better be.
Tampa plays.
Wisconsin kids better be ready, because this kind of heat and humidity is going to.
But did you see the Youngstown State players what they did to Sanford in Montgomery.
Yeah. What was that final score?
Well, there was a blowout when I quit watching.
I went to that game.
They won like 48 to 20, something like that.
I went to that game and had a great time. Hold on a minute. Let's see who's on the line. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Will Matthews.
Will Matthews calling in from Ozark this morning, and we're going over some of the games that are going to be played this week. Will, let me bring you in with Mike Amos here in a second. Let me bring you in with him, and we'll be in good shape. We're going to put you on hold. Then we'll go with conference, and then conference. And we're on. Both parties are on. Is that right? Hello.
Yeah, I'm on.
Will?
I'm on. Yeah.
Will Matthews is on from calling in from Ozark. He's our local attorney. He represents our show here.
I heard something about you the other day I never heard. You posted on Facebook that you were struck by lightning on a golf course and knocked unconscious.
When was that?
1975, I think. Or 1973.
Tell us about it.
Well, I was playing golf at the old Ozark Country Club with a jeweler named R.B. Shepard and two other men, and we were trying to get back to the clubhouse, and he stopped the cart under an oak tree.
Oh, boy.
And that was a mistake, and the lightning struck the tree, and we were knocked out of the cart. And I tell you what, it was bad. And I've never taken a chance ever since then. If there's any bad weather, I go straight in. I don't, you know.
Well, I'll tell you this. They had three got struck by lightning in Atlanta this weekend.
Well, there were 6 went to the hospital.
Oh, 6 then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Boy, oh, boy. The worst place to go in a lightning storm is going up underneath a tree. And or sit on some kind of metal object. That wouldn't be fun either, would it?
Well, we were sitting in a golf cart. If we weren't in the golf cart, we'd be dead.
Yeah, I agree.
The rubber tires, helped out on that.
Well, Will, since you're on, and of course you're probably going to be trying to jumping on one of our picket shows coming up this week, but there's a game that some of these games are pretty tough to figure.
Let's ask you about Vanderbilt and Georgia. I think the line is 21 in Nashville. You think Vanderbilt can keep it under that number, Will?
Oh, yeah, I like the points. Yeah.
But, of course, what kind of quarterback does Vanderbilt have? The last couple of years, they've had a pretty good one.
Yeah, their quarterback went to the pros, so they're going to come up with somebody else probably not very good. So, but they've got a good defense, so I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
Also on Friday night, you've got Oklahoma State, 16.5-point favorite over Oregon State. You've got Rutgers. Oh, that's playing UMass. Michigan State playing Tulsa. These are not any real big games. Colorado State.
That's a big one.
Yeah, you don't know who's going to win that one right there. Of course, this week we've got some of those the top. Everybody keeps telling me that Memphis is a 7-point favorite over Ole Miss. I would like them a lot more if Ole Miss was favored. That tells me Ole Miss as an underdog might have a better chance against Memphis. But everybody likes Memphis. What do you think?
I think Memphis will beat them straight up by 15 to 20 points.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I really do. I tell you, my upset this week, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you, and I don't know what the spread is, but I like Northwestern against Stanford.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and of course, but they're playing at Stanford.
Northwestern's quarterback, the Johnson kid that transferred out of Clemson.
Oh, it is?
That was a five-star quarterback.
So there's 2 Clemson former quarterbacks that are starting.
But I tell you what, Stanford plays good defense. Stanford is a 7-point favorite. Do you know Alabama opened at 35 and now it's 33 against Duke? They feel like Duke is going to try to hold it close, or Alabama's not going to try to run up the score. What do you think?
Alabama could beat them by 50. I mean, it could be horrible.
That's a game you don't want to play, though, because Alabama, when they get up big, always puts in backups and usually big lines.
You know, Alabama's bad about breaking their fans' hearts. I mean, Saban could care less what the line is. Don't you agree?
The last 5 years, he's 30 and 24 against the line. That's not great.
I know, it's what I'm saying. Not great at all. I tell you, he breaks a lot of his fans' hearts.
We didn't mention the huge news in pro football when we started today. Andrew Luck is retired from the Indianapolis Colts. So what's y'all's opinion on that?
Boy, he was a great player, I'll tell you that. But you know what? You can't blame him. He stays hurt, and he's rich as he can be. You know, he don't need the money.
And he's given up hundreds of millions of dollars, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, he might change his mind, but I don't know. But he's a great player, I think. I really do. And of course that they don't start until the next week, so don't worry about the pros this week. LSU and Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern let that guy come back on the team. The quarterback who was stopped for possession of cocaine and marijuana is been reinstated to the team. And now Georgia State is liable to play the game too.
Well, they probably had to because they dropped the charges. I mean, and then so what? I don't know how they could justify kicking him off.
Well, of course, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy, and they're dealing. Remember, you buy a new or used car from, or a new car from Premier, they take $200 of what their profits will be and put it in a fund to help raise money for Troy Regional Medical Center.
Fantastic.
He did the same thing last year for education. Mm-hmm. Now he's going to do it. He's going to give what he hopes to $100,000 to support our local hospital.
Mike, did you see
Mike,
the?
Who does Troy open up with?
Who?
Campbell.
Who does Troy?
Troy opened up with Campbell of North Carolina, Campbell University of North Alabama. They haven't been playing a whole lot, but they've got some athletes up in that part of the country. But Troy should handle them with relative ease, hopefully.
Yeah.
Looking at that line, they don't line a game if you're playing against a AA team.
Mike, did you see the story about LeRon McClain's tweets? He's a former Alabama fullback that played in the NFL for 7 years, and he's having terrible issues, and he blames them on head injuries he got in his football career, and it was really a plea for help filled with expletives about the issues he's going through with his head issues. But that story went viral. Very concerning.
No question now. He's been out of football for a little while, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually made 2 Pro Bowls. He wasn't a bad player.
Yeah.
He's from Tuscaloosa.
I get him mixed up with a great linebacker with New England that played at Alabama.
Hightower.
Yeah, for some reason I get them mixed up sometimes.
All right, here's your Troy depth chart if you want to hear it.
Troy depth chart, bro. Yeah, I want to hear it.
All right, starting running back will be B.J. Smith. The backups will be D.K. Billingsley and Jabir Daughtry-Fry.
All right, Billingsley's from Scottsboro, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a kid from Scottsboro that played up there. And then you got
big kid. He's a big kid, isn't he?
He's not big. He's 5'11", 210. But
well, that's pretty big.
That's big. That's about like Emmett Smith was, wasn't it?
And then you got the quarterback Caleb Barker as the starter. You got Gunnar Watson.
What's the stats on Caleb Barker? 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah. Then you got Reggie Todd is the transfer from Mississippi State, starting at the wide receiver X position.
All right, I hate to mess you up here, but who's the backup? Gunnar
Watson.
Gunnar Watson, big tall kid, isn't he? What's the stats?
6'3", 2'3", 210.
Okay.
Reggie Todd, there's a Mississippi State transfer. Expect a lot of big things out of him at the X. Behind him's DeMontre Brown. Wide receiver H will be Trey Eford, started last year, number 13.
Real fast. Let me comment a little bit on him. All right, go ahead.
And then Brett Clark is his backup, the kid out of New Hope. Wide receiver Z will be Luke Whittemore, who came on strong last year.
Yeah, he's a possession-type receiver, really a good receiver.
Yeah, he beat out Caleb McClain, who was the kid they brought in from junior college, 6'4", 230. Wide receiver Y will be Sam Litton. That's your tight end that was out last year. He's back, 6'2", 232. Your tight end will be A.J. Lewis out of Mobile, played at Murphy. Left tackle will be Austin Stidham, starter from last year, 6'5", 288. Left guard Kurt Kelly's up for the Outland Award, 6'4", 330 out of Louisiana. Center will be Dylan Bradshaw out of Enterprise, Alabama.
Oh, that's great.
306.
6'3", how much?
6'3", 306.
Oh, 306, okay.
Your right guard will be Tristan Crowder. He's been a starter the last 3 years, 6'4", 330 out of Carrollton, Georgia. And then your right tackle will be the same as last year as well, J.L. Gaston, 6'4", 290 out of Monroeville.
Mike, this looks to be maybe as good an offensive line as Troy ever put on the field. It really looks good.
Well, I mean, they're all back. They're all starters from last year.
They were pretty good last year.
That's good, except center. The center is new.
Yeah, but Bradshaw played a lot last year.
Yeah, I know, and he's a good one out of Enterprise.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So,
how about on defense? You don't know.
Your defensive ends are going to be Antonio Showers, 6'1", 260 out of Tucker.
Never heard of him. All right.
He played last year. He's number 49. John Hines, a kid out of Montgomery, is your backup, 6'4", 244. This is where it's a pretty shocking news. At defensive tackle Trevion Mathis, 6'2", 245, sophomore out of Lynette, is ahead of Travis Solo, who played a lot last year, 6'2", 285 out of Buell, Alabama. And then the biggest surprise is Marcus Webb, who's been a starter the last 3 years at defensive tackle, 6'1", 290 pounds out of Decatur, is third string.
Gosh. And that's the nose guard position, isn't it?
No, that's the defensive tackle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your nose guard's going to be Cholo, number 5.
How big is he?
Who they say they can't block? Will Cholo, 6 foot, 295 pounds.
Boy, he's a bowling block. I tell you, that's a big kid. 300 pounders, 6 foot.
And then your defensive ends, you're going to have the kid out of Slocum that was hurt last year, but in the bowl game, he's back. And then you got Zoe Bridges that's going to be playing a lot as well, who had to sit out from Opelika last year. He's back. Zoe Bridges will help out a lot rushing the passer. Your will linebacker will be Justin Wisenhunt out of Birmingham, played at Ramsey.
I want you to hear where these guys are from. All right, Ramsey, go ahead.
His backup is K.J. Robinson, who played at Thompson High School, Alabaster.
Thompson.
And then his backup is A.J. Smalley, that played at Spain Park.
Spain Park.
So three Birmingham kids will be playing will linebacker.
And good Birmingham kids, too. Go ahead.
Then your Mike linebacker, this was the star of the team last year, was Carlton Marshall, 5'10", 214 out of McGill Tulane.
Say he's a tackling factory.
And these guys are all new. At spear position, T.J. Harris, 6'1", 196 out of Leesburg. Never even heard of the kid.
Leesburg, Georgia, though, had won the state championship several years over there.
And then you got Jeremiah Jones, 5'11", 204 out of Detroit, Michigan, as his backup.
Gosh, never heard of him. Go ahead.
The cornerback, this kid came in from a transfer from Oklahoma, played a lot last year. Will Sutherland, 6'4", 197. That is a huge cornerback.
That is. It sure is.
Strong safety, this is a guy that's from there. He's been playing for 3 years. Strong safety, Melvin Tice out of Carver, Montgomery.
Yeah, I wouldn't know him.
Free safety will be Kyle Nixon. He's one of the Nixon twins, 6'1", 200 out of Fort Valley, Georgia. And then another cornerback I've never heard of, Isaiah Fletcher, 5'11", 171 out of Huntsville.
Boy, I don't know what's happening, but
defense has
been depleted. It's been depleted, Mike. I'm telling you.
It's unbelievable.
unless these guys are that good.
We met Jeremiah Jones at the cafeteria this summer, Mike.
Yeah, that's right.
We commented on it. He said, "Are you familiar with the name Jeremiah Johnson?" And he really wasn't.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the twins from Fort Valley, isn't he, Mike?
Yeah. No, that's Nixon. The Nixon twins.
Oh, okay, I got you. Ladies and gentlemen, these are good football players. Don't get me wrong, and they're ready to go. But
let's just say they're missing 6 starters that could have been on this roster.
Yeah. But and of course, you know, a lot of this.
Listen, in secondary, they're missing Murray starter, Jones starter, Dunlap starter.
Yeah, Dunlap was.
That could have been on the roster.
Yeah. You're right.
Then they're missing the kid out of Tron Folsom, the leading tackler 2 straight years, and now they've lost the defensive end that was the leading pass rusher last year.
Well. Let me tell you one thing. It could be that we lost them instead of they lose us. You know what I'm saying? They might have been on the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm. Here's your special teams. Tyler Sumter, great year last year.
Oh, he's a good one.
Award finalist. He's going to be your place kicker. Evan Lagasse will back him up. Kickoff specialist will be Evan Lagasse. Punter will be Tyler Sumter. Jack Martin's a kid they got out of Dauphin, Northview, that will be his backup. Cameron Kay will be the long snapper. Holder will be Luke Whittemore, and this is very interesting to me. At 6'5", 205 pounds, your kick returner will be Reggie Todd, the Mississippi State transfer.
Whoa.
And then your punt returner will also be Reggie Todd.
Oh, man. That's the tallest punt returner in America right there.
And Fry will also be on kickoffs as well,
Yeah.
Javier Daughtry-Fry.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be so much fun. And, of course, now we're not being negative, but it's just a fact that a lot of these newcomers are either beating these older guys out or there's a problem somewhere where the players are there could be some situations here for reasons.
Seems like most of the
we know that some of these guys transferred last year, the quarterback and the strong safety.
We got great issues with Barker and Dunlap, so that's an issue there. And then you got other guys just transferred out.
Yeah.
It seems like most of the attrition is on defense. Yeah. So I think your statement that the offense might have to outscore some people might be apropos.
And Dunlap, no question.
You want to go ahead and repick what we think Troy's record's going to be?
Well, yeah, I don't mind. That'll be great.
No, I'm just saying. After losing that much on defense, it's definitely got to worry you a little bit.
Yeah. Of course, again.
Also, huge news out of Cincinnati. Damian Willis has won a job with the Cincinnati Bengals and will start at wide receiver the opening weekend. A free agent, wasn't even drafted out of Troy, put up phenomenal numbers at Troy last year, will start for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Isn't that wonderful? Damian Willis, and who was an outstanding receiver for Troy last year, and he plays for who? Cincinnati. They need him, I tell you what. And who are some other guys that look like they're going to make it?
Looks like Jordan Chun, as long as Zeke Elliott keeps holding out with the Cowboys, he's going to make it. He caught his first touchdown pass for the Cowboys in a preseason game last week, and he ran, I think, 3 times for 30 yards. So he's going to get a chance to make the Cowboys.
Boy, won't that be great if he can? I tell you, I know him, and he got married while he was here in Troy, and he is a fine young man.
Well, he was on the practice squad all last year. He made $100,000 being on the practice squad last year.
I would like to be on the practice squad.
No question about it. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more of Today in L.A.
I love my job. We get to help people who are having the worst day of their life.
You just got to be ready for whatever hits.
She wasn't breathing. She was almost dead.
Stay still there. Stay still. It's fine.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Safety first at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we practice safety first. That's right, safety first. Remember, school is about to start. Look twice, then look again. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, where safety is first. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, 401k, up to 4% of your gross pay. We match it, 4% of your gross pay. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Drive for the best. Wiley Sanders.
I love my job. We get to help people who are having the worst day of their life.
You just got to be ready for whatever hits.
She wasn't breathing. She was almost dead.
Stay still there. Stay still. It's fine.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
You like it a lot?
Oh, I love living at the beach.
Yeah.
Well,
back to our show, and Mike Amos is just telling us how much he loves being at the beach. And right now, at Graton Beach, Mike, it's sort of slow, and that's
it's a ghost town. You know, I was in Panama City yesterday, Panama City Beach, and a lot more people in Panama City Beach right now than down here. Of course, that'll all change come Thursday. Everybody will be down here for Labor Day weekend. They'll be packed.
Yeah, no question. Everybody wants to.
We got a group renting a house next door to us down here, and they're from Texas. And I asked them yesterday. I said, "Where are y'all from?" And they said, "Lubbock, Texas."
Lubbock, Texas. The home of Texas Tech University.
Yep.
Like old Bud Casey, you know what old Bud Casey said about Lubbock? He said, you got to go. I mean, you got to go, well, let's see, something about.
You got to want to live there.
You got to want to go to Lubbock. You're right. And, of course, you know, they play pretty good ball, though, don't they?
He remembered Neil Brown being the offense coordinator and when Tuberville was the head coach there.
Yeah. And that was the time where Tuberville hit him with his hand.
Yeah, I think so, on the sideline.
Yeah, I got you. All right.
Is Will Matthews still on? I wonder what he thinks of Tuberville.
Will, are you still on, Will?
No, he's gone.
He's gone.
We start talking about Troy and Will gets off.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Kentucky is 13-point favorite over Toledo. Toledo might play them tough. Toledo's not bad.
Where did we get the expression "Holy Toledo"?
Holy Toledo, that's right. I was wondering. Probably from Harry Carey.
Might be.
Yeah, no question. But it's going to be some good games, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the kickoff because the Auburn Tigers are ready to roll. They're going to be playing at Jerry World against Oregon University, the University of Oregon, and the Auburn Tigers. That is a 7 o'clock game time, Mike. Is that right? 7 o'clock kickoff.
You got Alabama at 2:30. You got Troy at 5 and Auburn at 7. Isn't that right?
So we're right in between both of them. And, of course, the Crimson Tide, we're not going to hurt any feelings out there, except we needed a Troy song. But let's go for the...
We got a hot wire, Big Al.
You're going to have to hot wire, Big Al. There it goes. Yay, Alabama. The Crimson Tide of Alabama getting ready to kick it off in Atlanta. Is that right?
That's right.
Against the Duke Blue Devils. And I promise you, if you want to go to the game, just drive up there. There'll be tickets available outside the stadium. No question about it. And probably for under the price of admission.
Probably $20.
Mike, what is this game?
They're saying tickets are going as low as $25 to Alabama Duke.
Tickets are going as low as $25. So go to Atlanta and get you a place to stay. And
if I didn't have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old and was retired, I think that would be a great trip to spend a week in Atlanta, get a cheap ticket, enjoy the facility, which is very nice, I understand. Yeah. The game, the team should handle business. You shouldn't have to sweat out the game. I'd much rather go to a game where you're favored by 35 points instead of a game where it's a pick 'em.
I'll tell you this: I have all the respect in the world for the Duke's coach, and of course, he coached some pretty good players. He coached the Manning boys, and he's had some good teams at Duke. And you know what? He might have a good quarterback. They're not bad. They might stay under the number here.
They were under that number when they played Clemson last year.
The number right now is 30, and
33.
Well, let's see that's right. Opened at 30. Now they're at 35. Excuse me.
I think they lost to Clemson 35-6 last year. So that's
you got South Alabama, a 36-point underdog against Nebraska. You think South Alabama will be under that number?
I think they'll play under that. I would take South Alabama there because they're going to run the football. That's one thing. They're going to keep the ball away. I'm sure if they can.
The game I like is Louisiana Lafayette. The Lions started at 22.5. Lafayette's hosting Mississippi State in the Superdome in New Orleans, and Lafayette, won their side of the Sun Belt last year, and Napier's recruited really well. Mississippi State starting a new quarterback. That line started at 22.5, and it's now down to 20. So a lot of people are jumping on Lafayette.
Yeah, that could be a pretty good game, no question about it. And the game, is it played at Lafayette?
No, in the Superdome.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Lafayette played well there. They play well there.
The Memphis line has now gone to 7.5 against Ole Miss.
Yeah. I tell you what, that still bothers me to take Memphis over Ole Miss, but I don't know.
North Carolina is going to be a pretty interesting game as well. That's Mac Brown's return to North Carolina. South Carolina is a 10-point favorite, though.
God, that surprises me that they're that much favored against it. But I'd love, as a Troy guy, I'd love to play South Carolina tomorrow.
Now in Vegas, you're wrong about Alabama. The Alabama Duke line opened at 33. It's now at 35.
35, okay. And so it keeps going up.
About a half a point either way.
I'm going to tell you another game to watch real close is the Boston College Virginia Tech game. Boston College is going to have a pretty good team. They're real good on defense.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people down here in my woods, I live in Grayton, are Florida State fans, and they're definitely worried about the opener against Boise. Boise against Florida State. Florida State's now a 5.5-point favorite.
I like Florida State in this game. I like Florida State. I think they just got more athletes. Again, they're playing in the deep South. Listen, these guys just think that it's hot in Montana, Mike.
Didn't bother them in Troy in the first game last year.
Boise's in Idaho.
Idaho, excuse me. In Idaho. Hey, they just think it's...
Those Idaho potatoes.
Boy, I've eaten a lot of them over the years. I tell you another game that I like, and it's gone down. It opened at 6. Auburn is now 3. I just can't see Oregon beating Auburn. Those athletes at Auburn. Auburn recruits some good athletes that can run. I just don't think Oregon recruits the same kind of athletes. Give me the Auburn Tigers to win the game.
Well, they're the favorite to win. They're 3-point favorites.
Hey, War Eagle.
I want to know how many people are going to Dallas.
Raise your hand out there if you're going to Dallas. That says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are in our place right here.
Well, last year Auburn opened with Washington.
Go
you could go to the Washington game in Atlanta, get up in the morning and go in your car. So that didn't cost any money.
I'll tell you another line that might have gotten carried away here.
All right.
Southern Cal opened at 10.5 against Fresno. They're now 13.5. Now, Fresno lost their entire offense last year, but they were pretty good last year, too, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, they won 11 games.
I know it. So
Jeff Tedford's a great coach at Fresno State.
I will say this about Oregon. I've been studying my magazines, as I've let y'all know, and they return a lot of starters and experience.
They got a quarterback that's real
and
good.
A quarterback that could be the #1 pick overall.
And their coach has been the assistant coach at Alabama for how many years, Mike?
At where? Mario Cristobal.
Yeah.
He was at Alabama for 4 years, I think.
So he's got a little of that flavor now, too.
He used to be the head coach at Florida International. He used to play Troy all the time.
Yeah.
What about Sunday night? You got Houston traveling to Oklahoma. That should be a real high-scoring game.
Sunday night, huh?
Boy, yeah. Hey,
Jalen Hurts first start.
And Jalen Hurts, hey, Oklahoma is going to kill them. Not beat them, they're going to kill them.
I think so.
You better send extra.
Then you got a game Monday night. They'll probably.
You know why? Because Hurt is the real deal. Hurt is going to start his way to the Heisman. I'll say Hurt will be the Heisman winner this year.
And then after that, you got Monday night football. You got Notre Dame traveling to Louisville. That should be a blowout.
And Louisville, bless their hearts.
So we got college football Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and Monday night.
That's right.
And Georgia is supposed to have the best offensive line in America going up against Vanderbilt. They're playing at Vanderbilt.
In the Music City.
Vanderbilt Stadium holds 43,000.
Yeah. I've always wondered
25,000 of them will be Georgia fans.
I've always wondered why they didn't play that game in the Pro Stadium, because it holds so much more people. But, then, of course, I'll tell you what, LSU is a 27-point favorite over Georgia Southern. Jump all over Georgia Southern here because they're going to score some points.
I just jumped all over them.
27 points right now is the line. And let me just say this. They run the option well enough to keep it away from these offenses. And they're just not bad football. Georgia Southern's not bad.
They won 10 games last year.
Yeah, no question about it.
And as we've talked about, their quarterback is back on the team.
Now, here's another one, Mike, and they're playing, well, I can't tell. Is Arkansas State playing SMU at Arkansas State?
Yeah, Arkansas State's the favorite.
I think Arkansas State will they're playing at Arkansas State?
Yeah, well, I mean, we already talked about this. Blake Anderson's wife tragically passed away from breast cancer, and he's not even coaching in the game.
Win one for the coach.
Yeah, the defense coordinator, I think, will be the coach in this game.
Oh, can I say something that just occurred to me, y'all? ESPN is previewing their 150 years of football documentary series, which can be told over several parts, tell the whole history of college football, Mike.
Yeah. Look here. He's been running that there. I like that.
I like that, too.
I like that.
Well,
Great job.
The part I was...
I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
The part I was watching the other night had a little bit about Coach Bryant coming back to Alabama. And for the couple of seconds they were talking about it, they had a picture of Coach Bryant at Picture Day at Alabama in 1961 with a bunch of his seniors gathered around him. And standing right behind Coach Bryant was my dad without his helmet on with a big smile. So Dad was on ESPN for about 3 seconds. So y'all look for that when they play it again.
No question about it. But with football season here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're all excited. And it's going to be a great one as we start the season with some pretty good ones. Cincinnati and UCLA on Thursday, Clemson and Georgia Tech on Thursday. And those are Utah late game Thursday will be Utah and BYU. And that line has gone from 7 to 5. So a lot of folks like
Utah,
BYU. A lot of them like BYU since it's gone down,
I think, doesn't BYU play at Tennessee this year, too? I think so.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be some great games. And football season's here, and everybody is excited. And, of course, big headlines in Troy's want everybody to get out and
welcome Coach Lindsey.
And welcome Coach Lindsey by filling the stadium up and buying season tickets. It's the best deal in town.
The Sound of the South will be
the best deal in the country, not just in town. And you're right, the Sound of the South. And good thing you might want to go do this Thursday. They practice. They'll have a pep rally, but then they'll play. The band will practice in the stadium. It's a great place to take your kids and let them run around, and the big stadium there, and listen to the band. You'll get in the excitement of college football, and by just watching that band practice. Then, of course, as we mentioned on Friday night, a big home opener for a regular season game, Charles Henderson against Enterprise. 7 o'clock kickoff from Veterans Stadium Friday night. So we got great football. Troy at 5 on Saturday. Charles Henderson at 7 on Friday. And then, of course, a lot of football on television. And we're off and running.
And you said, looking back at last weekend, you said the rodeo had an attendance record.
A attendance record of 3,200. Now, I can't say that for Friday night, but I'm thinking that rodeo might have hurt a little bit of the attendance because Charles Henderson, I couldn't tell on this side, on the home side, how many people were there. But
I've been away.
It just didn't seem like as many people that have been coming to that game were there.
I moved back to Troy last year. I've only been back a year. But one thing I knew when I was here is the Pike County cattlemen are involved in the project. Right. It is going to be first class. They're the most impressive group of volunteers I can remember in my time in Troy. And so apparently nothing's changed. So because the cattlemen this was one of their events.
No question about it. I want to mention, some high school football just around the corner this weekend. And, of course, congratulations again to to Pike Liberal Arts winning that game at Morgan. And that young quarterback, who is such a phenom pitcher in baseball, looks like he's going to be an outstanding.
Only a sophomore. Wes Allen's son has almost 200 yards in receiving.
No question about it. And
had to go over there and back 2 times, 4 trips to and from Selma. But the key thing is they got the W.
Oh yeah, another game being played on Thursday that we didn't catch is Alabama State playing at UAB to open the season. So that's a.
Want to be interesting to see if UAB can continue their momentum of the last 2 years.
No question about it, and of course we've got so many big games coming up. Let's look at a few of these. High school games. You got Andalusia at Trinity of Montgomery. These are just local games now that I'm talking about.
That'll be a good game, Andalusia at Trinity.
Yeah, Headland at Highland Home. Andalusia got beat last week, though. Got beat pretty bad. Other games, Jeff Davis at Westlake, Georgia. Lou Burns at Georgiana. That's going to be a good game. Early. Boy, that's a big game early. Montgomery Academy at Hillcrest. New Brockton at Brantley will be a good game. Opp at Elba will be a good game. Looking down the road here at some other ones, Tallahassee at Hanley. Wetumpka at Dothan, the new Dothan High School, where Northview and Dothan High merged. And then in the private schools, Crenshaw Christian at Pike Liberal Arts, Edgewood at Morgan, Lee Scott's at Fort Dale, Macon East is at Hooper, Meadowview's at Russell County, and those are some of the games. Several of the private schools stopped playing football this year. I want to say it was 10 so right now there are not but 35 schools that play football in the Alabama Independent Schools. So still good football, and but some of these teams just can't afford to play football.
Crenshaw Christian at Pike Liberal Arts, and Crenshaw Christian had that tragedy of losing one of their teammates in that terrible car crash.
No question about it. We hope you've enjoyed our show today, and of course you can watch us again at 1:30. We're getting ready for a great high school and college football season right here on Today in LA, and hopefully we'll be able to be informative. We want you to know about what's going on in the high school level and in the college level, and every now and then we'll touch base on the pros, but mostly a college, high school, and college program, and we'll be bringing you all of those games.
It's not all sports.
Oh yeah, no question. But also I want to mention that the coaches show on Wednesday night, tomorrow night, right here on from our studios, That will be a 6 o'clock Charles Henderson. 6:30 will be Goshen. 7 o'clock will be Pike Liberal Arts. 7:30 will be Arrington. And 8 o'clock, hopefully either Elba or Luverne, one of the two. And it should be a lot of fun to see the replays and the playbacks are the highlights of all each team this year. That's from the game previously played. Hope you've enjoyed our show again, and thank you so much for our sponsors. Brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep on the bypass right here in Troy, and Ram Trucks. They're selling like hotcakes, ladies and gentlemen. It's believe you me, they'll beat anybody's price on a Dodge Chrysler Jeep or Ram truck from Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep right here in Troy. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.